What's going on, everyone? Matt here from the PT Profit, Leverage, and Lifestyle Show. I've got Jackson on with me today from ACR. So we've been connected on social media for a little while now, but it's the first time us actually connecting properly. So I'm super keen to dive into some juicy conversation. So how are you this morning, my friend?
Matt, very good to connect. And then, like you said, we have been connected for a while, and it's good to be able to actually speak to you in person and have a bit of a chat about what we can do for the community.
Awesome. Happy days. So we were talking a little bit off air about obviously your journey a little bit, but
Mm.
for the listeners who don't know who you are, do you want to give us a snapshot of what you've done previously and what you're doing now, just for context?
Yeah, 100%. So if I start back from my coaching career, so I actually started as a coach as a golf professional for 12 years, and then it migrated into personal training for about 7 years. So my coaching time frame be over 15 to 20 years in the coaching game. And then from the PT industry, I moved into owning a gym about 5, 6 years ago. I exited out of that about 2 years ago and still remain a silent partner in there. And ever since then, for the last 3 years, I've been building ACL, which is the gym software, automation systems and tools that we provide for PTs and gym owners.
Happy days. So you've done a fair bit in the fitness industry there, which is awesome. One thing that from my perspective, what you're known as from your social media is the AI
Mm.
side of things. I see a lot of that type of stuff on your social media. So what has you so I suppose interested or made the transition to the software side of things?
That's a good question. I've always had an interest in tech and automations and the ability to, I guess, assist my business at the time. So at the time, all everything we do came out of your own need, and then it was the same thing for me. Like it was coming out of my own need to be a lot more efficient. So like I alluded to, when I had the gym, we had a gym in Sydney. There was about a couple hundred members. During that scaling process, I was actually living about a couple hundred kilometers away from the facility, which I didn't mention. So the gym was in Sydney. I actually lived in Lake Macquarie. So
Hey.
it's about a couple hundred kilometers away. And then one of the biggest thing about scaling and growing any business was the ability to make sure that my time was efficient.
Mm.
So that's when I really got into the automation side of things and ability for my time to be a lot more effective. So when I was traveling, I'll have different kinds of automation working with me and helping me to grow the business. And as AI came along, with the introduction of OpenAI a couple of years ago, or just over a year ago now, I saw that it was something that was emerging in the industry that's going to really assist people not only just in things like content creation, but really in terms of being able to respond to leads a lot faster when it comes to especially the interaction you can have very quickly. Now, it goes beyond automation, like we always talk about in sales, the speed of engagement. Like, it's not just automation engagement, it's like how quickly can you engage the conversation the moment they got into your pipeline. Like PTs tend to have a lot of time spent on the floor one on one. You are going to have people contacting you during that time, and you'll get to a point in your business that you cannot do that because you're training clients on the floor, they're inquiring about you, you're not able to respond to them straight away, then they're bound to probably go somewhere else because someone else have the time to engage with them. So we talk about speed of engagement is a big part of where AI can fit into that bridge between lead opt-in and how quick you can get in contact with them and respond to them quickly.
Yeah, that's a good point. And one thing that I can relate to for that is for when, like, because I'm obviously still doing PT myself, and a lot of the people that listen to this podcast still do a fair bit of stuff on the
Yeah.
floor, like
Yeah.
you said. So that's yeah, that's quite a big thing that I haven't ever had something like that set up before in my PC business. So I think that's a lot of where the world is going now. I think it's grabbing people's attention as fast as possible, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if whoever is faster, because a lot of people just want things like this. Yeah,
Yes.
that's not this. So do you feel like, obviously, like, not only PTs but also gym owners, do you think it's a necessity, I suppose, to have this type of software?
Yeah, look, I'm a firm opinion in my personal opinion. I'm a firm believer that you need to contact your leads. So this is coming from someone who loves AI, who loves the tech, and I think I'm still a firm believer you need to have a conversation with them, just so you can understand what the needs are. What the AI is able to do is, like what I said before, you can have a very quick conversation with an agent or with an AI automation that allows you to engage within the moment they reply to you. So you're not phone tagging, you're actually text tagging essentially, right? So you're tagging back and forth. They're texting you or they're messaging you. You can't get back to them. You message them back 3 or 4 hours later. They can't get back to you. So you're like this back and forth of you being busy, them being busy, and we live in a very busy lifestyle at the moment, and not being able to get that quick answer back to them as soon as possible. Some of them just wanting to just find a little bit more about what you do, understanding what their goals are, and then you can get them into a conversation or consultation very quickly. And by doing that, that's what AI is going to do. I've shown a few I guess wins from the clients that we work with is that because that speed of engagement is what really makes a big difference because they engage me right there because they're free,
Mm.
right? So they reply back to you. So like most of the time, most of these guys are free to have a quick chat. They may not have a time to have a half an hour consultation, but they can certainly have 5 minutes, have a quick conversation, find out their goals, what their needs are. And 90% of people who listen to this podcast probably have a very similar process when it comes to engaging with your leads. Ask them the goals. Have they done any training before? What are they looking to achieve the next few 6 to 12 months? And how can we help you? How do you keep accountable? They're the most common questions that people be asking in a sales call. You can do that with an AI,
Mm.
right? Once you discover all of that quickly, then the next part is, well, why don't you come in? We'll have a quick chat, or book a call. We can have a quick chat on the phone in more detail.
Yeah.
That's what people are looking for when it comes to AI engagement.
Yeah. That's awesome. So like, um, I want to obviously dive into like the mindset of using AI as well, but just in terms of some practicality, how do
Mm.
you um how do you set something up like that? Do you set up like just frequently asked questions and the AI bot just responds as the questions come in type of thing?
Yeah, 100%. The great thing about AI is that it's like training a VA. So you ever work with virtual assistants, it's like no different training a staff. You as the business owner have all the knowledge in your head. So you need to be able to say, well, when someone asks me this question, I want to reply a certain way. So with AI, it's the same thing. And what OpenAI has done for us is that it's set up a platform that is such a big language model that allows us to go, well, I want the AI to understand what I'm feeding it in terms of information, and we just spit it back out to you based on what you give it. So if you give it a PDF or Excel sheet of all the frequently asked questions in the way that the client will ask you and how you will answer it, it will have the ability to interpret that and respond accordingly, like the way you would. And that's a lot of people I think get very overwhelmed by this whole concept of AI, but they've made it so simple and public. Like it's a conversational language model that you can just tell it what to say and you'll learn it and you can repeat it all the time, like as you would in a conversation.
That's a good point you make there because a lot of people do find AI very confusing or confronting, uh,
Mm,
and make it a lot more complicated than it is.
yeah.
Um, just in terms of even using like open AI, do you find or do you have any tips, I suppose, for the listeners to, you know, use it effectively? Because like how I use open AI is to brainstorm ideas and
Yep.
simplify ideas that
Yep.
I've got. Like I might have um, an idea saying, "Hey, I want to do this, this, this. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell me what it would look like?" Like if I'm
Yeah.
making a brand new offer, for example, I'd be like, "Cool. Well, what could be the benefits and what could be the drawback of this offer?" Do you have like some tips, I suppose, for people to start using OpenAI or any type of AI software?
Yeah, 100%. The most important when it comes to any work when it comes to AI is the input. So the better the input, what you give it, how you prompt it, what we call in this space the prompt engineering. That is probably I actually made a recent post about that. Is that the whole thing about AI is about prompt engineering. How you structure your prompt is going to be crucial in what kind of output you're going to create. And most people make the mistake of just giving a very natural language, which what you should be doing. But what you need to do is put everything in context. Give me an example. If you want to, create a marketing plan, you need to give it a context that you are a marketing manager for my business that is XYZ type. This is what I'm trying to achieve. So you got to give it context of what is need to do, where they need to grab the information from, and give it context about your business and give it objectives of what you're trying to achieve at the end of it. And then you can spit it out into those structures. And by doing that, you're going to give the AI a lot better ways to be able to give you a better response. Like, structure my 30-day plan based on my business. This is what I do. So you're trying to kind of like what you would be doing to a contractor. Let's say you go into a contractor. I want to tell you about my business. You're my marketing manager. This is what my business is doing. This is what I'm looking to achieve. I want you to be able to give me these instructions based on what I've given you. Can you please give me those data based on what I just provided? So the more context you can give it in the prompt, the better the output it will be.
One thing that I tend to use as well, just to play around with it, is just the different styles of language. So, for example, if I because you want it to, like, if you're trying to like, I use AI to give me some ideas on email campaigns. If I don't like how it sounds, or I wouldn't sound like that,
Yeah.
I would, like, you can tell me if I'm wrong here. This is what I do. I say, thank you. I want it to sound a bit more like this. Can you please redo the email?
Yep.
Make it simpler, have more paragraphs or whatever,
Yep.
so it's easier to understand. Is that something that you would
Yeah.
suggest?
Yeah, 100%. So those are instructions. Like you can even give it instructions like, can you please write in a format that a 5-year-old can understand, in very single point form format, one sentence type scenarios, and they will reply back or do rewrite it for you in that way. Or if you want to be more professional, you can say, I want to write to a CEO of the company. I want the language to be more professional. I want it to be constructed in such a way that is, fluent, and also be able to be understood by a high position business owner. So it all depends on how you structure that instruction. And 90% of the time that it will do what it needs to do. I mean, it's not perfect, but certainly in 2 years, like, it's come a long way in this world.
Hmm. Yeah, it's obviously dramatically getting better and better
Mm.
over time. Where do you I'm curious to know from your perspective, where do you kind of see the AI side of things going in the future? Because obviously you're already in the space with the software. Where do you see it going over the next, so say, just 3 to 5 years?
Well, in the next 3 to 5 years, I think that adoption is going to be a big key. I think with any industry, let's talk about the fitness industry itself. Like, we predominantly have been very the relationship. I would say a little bit old school in some ways, but it's really important to have that relationship part down packed. But I think what's going to happen is that there are things that you probably need to start to look at. Is that how can I adopt AI into my business to make my time more efficient? And I think that's where people need to start thinking about, how can I adopt AI into my world, and how can I make my operation a lot more efficient? Because at the end of the day, the more productive you are in your business, the more profit you are going to make. That's just the way it is. Like, if you're not productive with your time and you're not able to be efficient with what you do, and those people who are more productive and more structured and more efficient in their business is going to eventually outperform you. And I think that's the biggest thing that you got to think about is, okay, what do I want to do in my business? How can I be more efficient? How can I make sure that I can continue to nurture people on automation or using AI to give me a better structure in what I do? And how can I, whatever I need to do to make sure my business can stay up to date with time. And it's going to just become better and better. Like, I believe we only just seeing the beginning of what AI can actually do. Even though AI has been around for a long time, like, you think Siri, Alexa, it's been around for a while. We've been using it for a long time on a day-to-day basis. What they've done is that they just made it public.
Mm.
And now you got billions of people using it. That language model is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger in the next 12 months. And I'll 100% say it will become 2, 3 times, maybe 5 times better in the next 12 months than what it is now.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And just to go into a bit about ACR and what you
Mm.
guys do. You mentioned before we started recording about, you know, also putting like a client journey together. And I kind of like what you said beforehand, before we started recording about that. Do you want to explain some of the things that your software is able to do for not only because a lot of personal trainers listen to this podcast, but also gym owners.
Yeah.
But give us some context in terms of what type of automations or what type of software that we can use with our businesses.
Yeah, 100%. Like ACR is built in a way with a philosophy that we've got 3 pillars in the business. You need to be able to track your leads. So you need to be able to find a way to generate your leads. So we can launch ads directly from the ACR platform. So that's the attraction process. The conversion process is always about nurturing. It's about how can you speed up the engagement with the clients, making sure that engagement is quick, making sure the response is quick, making sure that the automation is continuous and persistent. That's the follow-up process. And that's usually covering those clients that, if you're busy, you can't respond to them, you want to be persistent without follow-up. And you implement that AI in that process to speed up the engagement. And that whole client journey is, for me, is that whole ecosystem of you as a business owner, how they perceive you as they come into your business. And I just finished a onboarding yesterday with a CrossFit gym, and this is kind of what their journey looks like. It's a 90-day client journey. Like they do booking sessions, PT sessions. Every time after their first session, they want to make sure they send out an email, making sure there's a check-in text or there's what you need to expect for the next session. So they they're describing to me what they're currently doing as a process in terms of setting the expectation for your clients. Like, yes, it's going to be great that you had the first session. You're going to feel sore. This is what you need to do to make sure you can help you to get better rest. Here are some materials you can do. Here's some redirects that you can maybe go and buy something to make sure you can recover better. So they've got all these things built out as a client journey for 90 days. Now, they were doing all these things manually for every single client. So every single person that gets on-ramped or onboarded, they're doing exactly the same process. And most people listening to this probably have some sort of process in place. Like they have something they are currently doing on repeat for every single client. That's their part of a ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have that, then you have a way to make sure you automate that, because you don't want to be doing some of those things on repeat or manually, unless you're doing customized type things. And 100% will say that you still have things that you do on repeat. So if you've got anything in your business that you're currently doing on repeat and you want to build that journey in a way that gives them a great experience that is, to experience with your business, you can build it out in the automation to make sure that they have the same experience every single time, and it's not taking up more of your time ongoing, because you get to 20 clients, 30 clients, 40 clients, you just can't do it anymore, because like the amount of admin you got to do continues to grow. It doesn't decrease, as you'll know, right? You get more clients are coming in, you got more things you got to try to remember. And what automations and AI and systems does is that it takes those activities and free out the white brain cells, like in the white space, and allow you to be more creative with your time. So you're not trying to remember, oh, this person is on 60 days, I'm going to make sure I send an email out. Like, or tracking on a big, or the administration task, or where is this person up to in their training? Like that's what automation is doing. Then from then onwards, if they don't become your client, how do you continue to engage with them, whether it be providing text messages or providing emails to just keep up to date on what you're doing? If you're generating leads in a gym, then you need to have a way to keep yourself in front of that particular lead ongoing, because someone else will be. If you're not doing it, someone else is doing it. So if you're not putting some kind of automation to nurture them, then someone who's doing a better job will essentially become grab that client over time.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing that really stands out because most of the audience is they're all sole traders, so they don't have a team.
Mm-hmm.
So they're obviously doing all these things. They've got
Yeah.
all their hats on. They're doing the marketing, they're doing the sales, they're doing the admin, they're doing all this stuff. They're doing the check-ins. They're getting reviews. They're getting testimonials.
Yep.
I'm just thinking how good it would be if, if you could get reviews on autopilot, client testimonials on autopilot. That would just come
Referrals on autopilot. It's part
and
of your,
referrals on autopilot. Yes.
like these are the little things that people don't think about, even though it's a must have, but it's a system. It becomes a system you're doing. You're bringing your lead in, you engage with them, you convert them, then you ask for referrals, you ask for reviews, you continue to nurture them, and that becomes a machine that continues to repeat itself every single time. And that's the thing that we know we should be doing, but as PT start to grow, I think as a one-on-one training, when you get to that sort of 20 to 25 sessions a week, you start to get to a point, it's almost like you kind of come to a bit of a stop, because like your times are limited, you're a little bit strapped with time.
Mhm.
It's fun, you find it a little bit harder to scale, because you got all these things you're trying to manage, but you're not able to get the time to manage it. So your hours gets longer and longer and longer, because you haven't got a system in place that allows you to get past that point.
Yeah, 100%. And it really relates to me because, yeah, I got a young family as well. So I
Mhm.
try and be at home as much as I can. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm very, very cautious with, how many clients I actually take on board for that reason. But
Yeah.
one thing that came up for me straight away, and this is what a lot of people are going to think, because a lot of people still think AI is so difficult. Um, how hard or how easy is it to set up those type of automations that you're talking about with the client journey for, let's say, 90 days? How much time does it take to set that up?
Um, it's probably the best way to answer is going to be coming down to based on the complexity of the the journey. I think that for most part of it, most people have a fairly standard type of approach. I'll probably say you can build an AI in about an hour if you really want to. We do it. Our guys can do it in an hour, because, like I said, like the prompts are done in such a way, like it's done so quickly. You can do it very, very quickly. We can do it in under an hour, understand some questions. Then you can train it over a period of time, slowly. What I will do is say the caveat of this is that I do want to make sure people understand is that you're not trying to get the AI to do complex things. Okay, you just the objective is to making sure they engage with your client the moment they respond to you. You don't want to go down the track of I want to get an AI to sell for you. I want to get the AI to convert and answer all these complex questions, get emotionally engaged with the clients. Yes, I think at some point they may get to that point, but I'm not an advocate for that kind of stuff. I think I'm an advocate for when you're busy as a business owner, you want to get that speed of engagement so that you can sift out those times that you are unable to engage with the clients quickly, and making sure when they do engage with you, someone's responding to them straight away, and then you're speaking to the right clients with the time that you have. So you're not spending an hour dialing, which we've all done it. I've done it. I've spent an hour, 2 hours sometimes doing sales calls, following out 20, 30 leads I generate from the gym. And that's like I do it morning, evening, afternoon, 3 times a day. And then I might get 2 conversations. It can be very draining if you're doing 3 hours a day and 5 days a week. It gets very draining. The 15 hours a week you're spending on just dialing and having sometimes empty conversations,
Mm,
when you can actually have AI working and pre-qualify them. And when they book a call, they already have gone through a bit of a pre-qualification process, and the sales becomes that little bit easier. And I think that's where I'm an advocate for, is that to be more efficient in that way, but don't let AI be the person or be the staff member that you can do everything for you, because it just makes you that 5 to 10% more efficient to make your life a lot easier.
yeah, 100%. That resonates with me as well because I tend to I do sales calls every single week, and the amount of people that are actually picking up the phone these days just gets less and less every, every month. So it makes it difficult, especially if you're like, for me, that's a problem for me and my clients. If we're only doing it on Saturdays,
Mm-hmm.
if they inquire on a Monday, then there's 6 days with no communication.
Yeah.
We're trying to get hold of them on Saturday and cold call them essentially while they're doing other things.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a big thing for me. Um, for I'm curious as well. I know you briefly t touched on it a little bit, but with the gym, so you're a PT for a while, and then you
Mm.
own the gym for a while as well. How come you? I think you said you sold the gym, and I think you're still part of the gym. I think you said.
Yeah, so I'm part of the gym in a sense that I use the software. I really use the gym to I beta test everything I do in the software with the
Uh,
gym I'm part of. That's kind of the agreement we had. So
okay.
I'm part of the gym in that I'm testing everything out, like So everything I'm doing currently, like what I'm sharing, like are things that we have actually done in the gym. Like it's live, live things that we actually do. So it's not something we did 5 years ago. It's like it's actually currently tested, beta tested, tested out, and then go, yep, this works. This is what we're doing, and then we'll continue to change. We'll continue to update and improve. And sometimes we'll look at a system and go, this doesn't quite work as well as what we wanted to, then we adopt and then make it better all the time. So that's my involvement with the gym. It's kind of like while using it as a beta test for everything we do as a software.
So with the software side of things, how often do you test new things? Because obviously the AI stuff is evolving quite rapidly. So is
Mhm.
that something that you're doing quite a bit?
Yeah, we're testing to a certain degree. I mean, it gets to a point like like I said, like our objective isn't to try and make it super complex. Our objective is to make sure we continue to improve the way we make sure that the first part is done really, really well. And then the next part, the way we test and improve is how can we continue to provide more data and better information for the users to go, okay, this makes sense. This is what I'm actually achieving out of using AI. So we always we'll probably do that on the weekly basis to not so much testing, but like improving something about the system because you may sometimes, oh my god, this didn't quite work as well as I wanted to in terms of the way the bot didn't stop the way I want to. So how can we improve that process? Like we, we'll always continue to evolve and improve. And as a new language model comes through, we'll test that as well to see, okay, is a new language model better performing for this particular scenario? Because all language models are quite different as well too. It's like we only know about OpenAI, but there's actually hundreds of different language models out there that's available for AI testing. So some models can perform better for certain things, and some models we'll sift out those things. That's what we do on the back end to continue to evolve with the system.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know there was so many different languages that people can
Hundreds,
hundreds.
hundreds.
Jesus Christ. I suppose for for a standard, personal trainer in like a rental based uh,
Mm.
facility, um, just to obviously keep things simple. If someone wants to kind of start using AI,
Mhm.
where would you suggest to start?
You go straight to OpenAI. I mean, that's the easiest language model to work with. You go to OpenAI, it can set up a platform under platform.openai.com. That will give you an account to have access to all the language model they've got. And then with our software, with ChatWise, that's what we actually connect to. We use the webhook within our ACR platform, and that creates the prompts, links it all together, and that will become that ability for the AI to start to talk because OpenAI is the brain behind it, and the system ACI and ChatWise is what like links all together is an interface. That's the best way to describe it. Like I know people will respond, it will get sent to OpenAI, and they will get the response coming back, and they'll go back and forth in communication.
All right. And OpenAI OpenAI is free, right? You don't need the paid version.
You don't need the pay version. So there are two things that we're mentioning here. So the OpenAI that we're talking about is actually the developer token version. So you do pay for the usage, but it's
Mm.
very, very, very cheap. Like there's a lot of different AI softwares out there that will promote it, but all they do is they charge you a premium on the front end and they're connected to OpenAI. Whereas you can go straight to OpenAI and that you're paying the OpenAI wholesale price, which is
Ah,
probably like less than a cent per message, which is tiny.
right.
Some people charge 3 cents, 5 cents per transaction.
Okay.
Mm.
So you basically what was the website you said before?
It's called platform.openai.com.
Okay. And then you use that platform so that's the bot that talks back and forth.
That's the engine and the brain behind the interpretation of the bot. And then you can use the assistant inside OpenAI assistant. It's got the prompt writer in there. You feed the prompts in there. The only thing you need on the front end is a communication platform that can link to OpenAI assistant, and that will allow that communication to happen. And in our case, we'll use ACR, and that's where the conversation happens. That sends the messages, receive the messages, send everything to OpenAI, and it feeds information back, and then that continue the conversation that way.
Yeah. Sounds complicated, but it's actually really simple.
It is actually, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Very
that's right.
simple. Cool. Because yeah, I'm just thinking how I can actually make that work for myself. But that sounds very, very simple. And we were talking before about obviously I use zip leads at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I had conversations with go high level. So
Yeah.
obviously ACR is obviously a little bit more in depth by the sounds of it than those platforms. So do you want to give us, because I want to give you a bit of a plug here as well. Like what's the differences between ACR and the other software platforms out there?
For us, what I've always focused on with ACL when we started it was, like I said earlier, alluded to, is like, we've got three pillars in the business. The way you can attract your leads. So we built additional plugins that allows you to launch ads. The way conversion is about how we can actually convert them. Everything from lead opt-ins, AI conversations, nurturing. What is a client experience looks like when they engage with you, and then what's a retention strategy. So because we integrated with a CRM software, we've got a retention strategy that's been built in on the back end that talks to a gym management software like Zoda. So let's say, for example, a client didn't attend for 2 weeks, then the system can pick it up and go, well, hey, this person hasn't come in for 2 days or two weeks. It will automatically respond to them and reach out to them, or send a notification to you as a business owner to say, okay, this person hasn't come in for a little while. Make sure to reach out to them. So I've always believed that you want to have something, or I want to create something that could be a full ecosystem for a business. Everything from attracting your leads to converting them to actually retaining them, and managing everything with payments and bookings and members apps and all that stuff. So rather than multiple platforms that we used to, like we used to use, I think back in the day, it used to be one fits all or MindBody. You do that, and then you have calendars we're managing. We have Zapier on the back end that was zapping everything together. Then we have another platform with managing the leads using Google Sheets. It was just very manual. So we wanted something that's seamless. Like, if something happens in one platform, it will automatically be talking to another platform, making sure it's updated. So you don't have this back and forth of, oh, I have to go do this one over here and then manually enter that into another system to make sure it's up to date. And then somewhere along the way, you'll get busy, and I guarantee the database would not be clean, which means that you can't market correctly, wasting more time as well too. And that's where I think we're a little bit different in that sense, that we have a slightly different approach when it comes to software. That we want to provide a solution that is a all-in-one solution that does everything for a fitness business.
100%. Can completely relate there. Even when I had my gym, I had MindBody.
Mm-hmm.
I had Calendly. I
Yep.
had Mailchimp. I had so many different.
Software
I had
subscriptions.
different people on different softwares for different payments.
Yeah.
I had everything. I had terms and conditions was through PandaDoc.
Yeah.
It was as you said, it's just causes a bit more stress than required. So I
Yeah. 100%.
feel like it's a bit of a no-brainer. And I think it's probably going to save you money as well. Not only it's probably going to make you money, but if you've got the retention strategy as well, it's probably going to end up saving you money long term as well, but not having to spend as much to get new clients, for example, and just looking after your existing clients.
In just little things, like I've had clients like that, even just what I just described before about this particular CrossFit gym. Like, even that 90-day retention strategy, that they've got a 90-day client journey plan where they do 3 sessions, or I think 4 sessions within the first month. They have a 60-day automation that goes out, like making sure checking with them. They have a rebooking process after that 60-day to 90-day period, reconsultation, and then upsell them into nutrition. consultation as well too. That's all part of that process. So it's not just a retention strategy you're thinking about. The whole ecosystem of a business is about how do you upsell or cross sell to your existing clients so you can start adding that additional value or dollar value with your members.
Mm.
And I think a lot of gyms don't do that. They don't think about and I always like to refer to like Moses is not a new idea of mine. So it's just like, how do you continue to engage with the clients in every 12 weeks? That you got to re-engage with something, either selling them something or create some kind of engagement, communication. So that's all part of the ecosystem we put into place, and we put it into a template that's ready to go, so that what the gym owners need to do is say, well, what's your current plan? Now we can plug it all into it. So it's like a business out of the box type scenario.
Sounds good. Sounds very good. If people want to find out more information about ACR, because I would imagine some people would after this conversation,
Mm.
how can they follow you or follow the business? How could they get in touch?
Yeah, just reach out to us on my personal profile is Jackson Chen on Facebook, or they can just go to acr.fit and they can fill in a form in there, and then I'll respond or AI respond. I don't know.
I was going to say it's probably going to be AI generated. Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. This is a very insightful conversation. It's been awesome to properly connect.
Yeah, pleasure.
I'll leave those links in the on the description as well, so people can just click on the links to go
Yeah,
straight to
awesome.
it to save them some time.
Mm.
But yeah, thank you again for the conversation. I look forward to many more.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, Matt.
All right.